A new Formula 2 era is about to begin. Welcome to the first race day of the season. Good afternoon from Bahrain International Circuit in Sakhir.
First race of the season for this new Formula 2 will be extreme this race. Why? First for the temperature, second because it will be a battle.
You see Leclerc capturing the first Formula 2 pole ahead of his former GP3 teammate Nick de Vries. Then we had Norman Nato, a lot of people's prediction to win the race. Watch out for Luca Chiotto as well. He is starting his first race for Russian time. Antonio Fuoco did qualify in second place, but you see he's dropped down. 3-place penalty for blocking the man directly behind him, Artem Markelov. Matsushita is in sixth, then Markelov, Roland, who was very quick indeed on the medium tire. And in Bahrain, we're underway with a decent start for the pole sitter Leclerc, who moves away. It's been a poor one for de Vries, and he's immediately gobbled up by Nato, who has been very impressive around this circuit before. Chiotto going down the inside, could get very close into turn one, and the 400-meter run to turn one somehow appears to have passed without incident. You don't often see that, but Charles Leclerc getting exactly the start he needed as Markelov has got past de Vries, who is sinking from the front row. So it's Leclerc, Nato, Markelov up from 7th on the grid. He's in the mood for it, and now the ART and Rapax of Matsushita going wheel to wheel with Nick de Vries, and de Vries to overtake at turn 13 when there's a much better opportunity coming in just a few corners as well. Markelov having stretched clear, looking really racy. Once again, Chicago barging his way past. He's not in the mood to wait around, and he goes past Fuoco, who has rather been bullied, the young Italian Ferrari Academy driver. And so, with the bottom running along the floor, lap one, the order, Charles Leclerc ahead of Norman Nato, Artem Markelov up from 7th on the grid to 3rd in the race, Nick de Vries heading down, and we've got Alexander Albon very close in contact there. You do not need that. There's a little bit of damage to Alexander Albon's front wing. Remember, up to 8th. Jordan King started in 11th, got himself up to 7th and making his experience with this machinery. But the battle for the lead is looking very, very close between the Arden of Norman Nato and the Prima of Charles Leclerc. Nato always comfortable around this racetrack. He's back with the Arden team that he started with in GP2. All new personnel, and Arden, who have had so many difficult years, 5 years without a win at this level. Well, right now they are looking pretty good and over the line, nothing between them. You can see the top 3 in your picture. Leclerc with his mirrors full of the yellow Arden as they head down to turn number 1.
He had a good exit from the last corner. Norman Nato, he has the chance to tuck.
Leclerc looking in the mirrors, but I don't think there's anything he can do about it. Norman Nato is going to take the lead at turn 1. It's bumpy down there, so it's not easy to get it slowed down. Leclerc isn't going to give it up, but is there anything he can do? I don't think there is. Norman Nato, he won the season opener 1 year ago, and he's looking very good at the moment to repeat the feat. Great opening 3 laps for the French driver who's gone past. This is how the battle for the lead was resolved, though. Nato looking comfortable from the first moment, and the first chance he got, not with the use of DRS, of course, doing it the old-fashioned way, down the inside, and that was a sweet move for the new race leader.
Yeah, it was perfect. He didn't use too much the tires. He had only a really good brake on the inside. No defense from Charles Leclerc. Look at the start.
So here we go. Poor one away, actually, for Johnny Cecotto, but he was about to make that all up right from the back. And once again, you can see really slow one. Delatraz.
Sorry guys, I'm so stupid, sorry guys.
So Delatraz was able to be recovered to the pit lane. He is still circulating out there. Here's what it looked like from the start. It was a great getaway for Leclerc, a poor one for the Rapax driver de Vries, who was swallowed, and a bit of a weave there on Chiotto, who had nowhere to go and lost a little bit of momentum, being so tight on the inside. Nato getting himself up to 2nd, and then Markelov being brave into turn number 2. He's on board with Nicholas Latifi, the Dams driver.
Good start there from the outside. Look, ooh.
And that wasn't good for Alexander Albon, not the getaway he wanted on his Formula 2 debut. But Latifi managing to get himself in the mix. He's currently running 1 position out of the point in 11th place. And right behind his teammate, Ollie Roland, in 9th. This is the start for de Vries.
He had a bit of wheel spin. Look at Leclerc, the jump, how better he was in comparison of him. De Vries tried to defend the position on the inside, and then he brake really late to try to not lose so many positions. At the moment he's running 4th, and he just set the best lap time of the race. But Markelov on the outside, how brave he was, really good for him.
And this is Luca Chiotto. We're on board with him, with his new team, Russian time. He's a driver that wears his heart on his sleeve, and he would have been extremely nervous to get the squeeze there from De Vries heading into turn one. Managed to get it slowed down, but unfortunately his teammates sailing by. And of course, not only being the leader, he gets the advantage of running in clear air, which will help his tyres even more.
Yeah, for sure. You don't have the car in front of you that destroy and create you understeer, so you use more the tires. He's in the perfect condition, Nato. He pushed the first 3 laps, he get the leadership, and now he's controlling the race. But the group is there, really close to him.
Now, controlling the race becomes slightly more complex with the use of DRS. You've got to break that barrier of a second, and the top on board with the second place man. You see the prancing horse there, Ferrari Academy driver Charles Leclerc, the hot property in single-seater racing for a very long time, but in the background, Artem Markelov getting ever closer and looking like he's going to put ever more pressure on the Monegasque driver.
Markelov is there, it's close, and he's running really well. Look also the lines.
So once again, here's Norman Nato. What are we looking at on the pit straight here? Bodywork flying off the car, and thank goodness it went away from the chasing pack. We're on board with Nicholas Latifi once again, getting very close indeed. Oh, and there's Alexander Albon. How about that? For a move for the Thai driver, he was straight down the inside, and I'm not sure how much Latifi knew about it.
He missed the break, but because he was trying to defend the position to Albon.
So back at the front with our leader, he was saying this is a circuit he really enjoys. Back with the Arden team.
The condition for Marco.
Okay, Luke, you're going to have to manage that. We've still got quite a way to go before the pit stops.
Already problem with the rear tires for Giotto, and the engineer answer, you have to try to manage it. There's no story.
And they were worried about this at the start. We're on board with Luca Giotto, the man. It is a circuit where the rear tyres will go. Thermal degradation around this circuit. It's the rear tyres to go first, but they were really worried about it. He's very close indeed. So Norman Nato maybe going through the graining phase that we see around this time. And Leclerc with the use of DRS. He's 7/10 away last time. It's only 4/10 of a second this time. And you can see he's inching into his lead with every moment, feigning one to the inside. Is he going to go past him to retake the lead? He is, you know. What a titanic tussle at the front. Norman Nato can't defend. And Charles Leclerc back into first position with a fantastic move down the inside. He's looked after his tyres really well. Remember, no experience of this machinery. And Nato, after looking supreme in the early laps, now letting Leclerc go by and looking pretty vulnerable to Artem Markelov behind. So a little bit of a twist that we weren't expecting. The guys, we're running lap 7 at the moment. Markelov getting very close indeed. They've got to go to about lap 20 on these tyres.
Struggling Nato, Look, the first sector, he really dropped down the race pace. Look, Markelov is trying to attack him, but Nato seems that he just lost the performance. Really well done from Leclerc, that he had a really deep break. Look, he was not really close, He brake on this inside, really clean, really deep, and he overtook him. Nato, he didn't defend at all. I think he felt that he's struggling already with the tires.
Didn't want to take any more out of the tyres than he needed to. We mentioned before, lights out, that it's so important not to get involved in a tussle early on, because you will just take so much out. You can already see the marbles way off on the racetrack.
No, both drivers with the DRS will be not easy for Markelov, I think.
Well, that is the crucial point. It's 9/10 of a second between Norman Nato over the line and Charles Leclerc. Here comes Luca Giotto trying to make the move on Nobuharu Matsushita, and he's got down the inside and he's getting past. So Markelov going well in third place, and it's getting even better for fifth place.
That you need. Look, Giotto was far, he surprised him. Matsushita didn't expect him, but look, he lost the position. And then bad exit for Matsushita, second corner, again another overtake. Well done for Giotto, was far away, he brakes so deep, really well done for the Italian.
Matsushita knew he was in trouble, hoping for something different. And now down the inside goes Ollie Rowland. Does Matsushita know he's there? Yes, he does. So Ollie Rowland gets himself up to 7th position. And will Matsushita be able to respond? He has not had a good couple of laps, losing places to King, losing places to Giotto, and now to Ollie Rowland, who will be able to. They would have started the race on board, and in comes Latifi into the pits. It effectively rules him out of contention for the points unless we see something dramatic, unless we see a virtual safety car or a real safety car. And Disappointing for the man that this time last year was very close. Markelov having a look at Norman Nato, who has now, of course, fallen back, and he's falling wider. Markelov doesn't respect the rules of where you should and shouldn't overtake. He will be on to him immediately, and he can see P2 looming large in front of him as he goes down to turn 8. He will know he's got the measure. Nabil Jeffrey, who got hit in qualifying, he's having a bit of a nightmare weekend. He is not having the easiest time at all. Markelov looking very good at the moment. Remember, Russian time think that they are incredibly strong on the soft tyre, so if he can get himself within range of Leclerc, we could be in for a real grandstand finish. First to clear, though, Norman Nato, who has really been struggling for the last 7 laps on these medium Pirelli tyres. Artem Markelov with the use of DRS.
Right.
He's down the inside. He's going to make the move. He's got the inside line, and we've seen some spectacular stuff from Artem Markelov down the years. That one of his easier moves, and he is now P2 in the race.
I love the way he prepared the last corner. He just break in the right position, and then
But Norman Nato, if it's not going to be a chance to contend for victory, he's better to just wave the guys past, and he's showing a level of maturity out there on the racetrack today. That's the sort of maturity you need in order to fight for the title. Well, very close indeed, this between Matsushita, Chicotto and Alexander Albon, who's running very close indeed to the back of the Venezuelan driver. He wasn't able to make sure, but look how much Matsushita is struggling, and Albon able to take advantage. So the ART holding up the rat packs, and Albon through. Yet the top 3 at the moment, Leclerc, Markelov and De Vries, as we have a look at how Albon got past Johnny Chicotto.
yeah, it's a really difficult place, but look, he opened the line on in the entry, and then in the exit he opened the throttle early in the checkout, and then he tried immediately on his teammate, but Matsushita is so in difficulty. Look, he's not able to control his car anymore with the rear tires. He's really struggling. Matsushita has been overtaken by 2 cars in 3 corner, not an easy condition for him. And strange also, the race for Antonio Fuoco, that he just pit, he was 12 and now he dropped down to 14 or 15s after the pit stop, and will be really not easy now. So much laps with the same time.
Well, fascinating stuff at the front there. Charles Leclerc is bailing out. His medium tyres have had enough. But did you see how much Artem Markelov had caught him up? He is really right there. Closed down that gap so quickly. And is Artem Markelov the man to watch? It looked like it was going to be Nato. It looked like it was going to be Leclerc. Well, is it going to be Markelov now? Who will be giving it everything now on what is surely one of his in-laps, or getting close to his in-lap? Now, here's Nato. Is the undercut going to work for Norman Nato? Leclerc looking out of the cockpit. He knows he's going to be there. He knows it's going to be close. And remember, tyre temperature will be lower for Leclerc. He won't have the grip that Norman Nato has. And
It's
Nato
close.
knows he's got to make the move. Now they're on full attack after absolute laps and laps of looking after the tyres. They're going wheel to wheel
Right
at
on the
Bahrain,
outside.
and he's trying to go all the way around the outside. And has he got it completed? He has. Wow, Norman Nato lighting it up in Bahrain, and that could be for the lead of the race in just a few laps' time. Leclerc, and here comes the leader into the pit lane, approaching his Russian time crew. This is a high-pressure pit stop for the guys. You see his teammate on track. It's a great stop onto the soft rubber for the man who is leading out there. But we're looking out the window and we're anticipating, where are the guys that he is racing for victory here in Bahrain? Here we go, and it's surely going to be Norman Nato. There we go, so that lap going longer cost him. Norman Nato retakes the lead in Bahrain, and it's going one way and then the other in a fantastic seesaw race, and Markelov will not be pleased to have. This would be something special. But Nato, well, we've seen the lead change so much, we're just going to wait and see who makes it. But Markelov is going to come on very strong indeed in the final laps. Remember the pace that we saw. Oh, it's getting very close indeed between... Is that Matsushita out there still struggling? There's Alexander Albon going past on the soft rubber. So these guys have come into the pits. Another fastest lap of the race from Norman Nato, 1:46.1. He is absolutely flying at the moment. So now the guys that started on the medium rubber are catching Coletti, who was he was in the pit lane, remember, at the start of the race. That's why he's on the mediums now. Those mediums not in great shape. And Alexander Albon siding his way through the field. Matsushita in the other ART will try and follow through. Careful not to outbrake yourself. So easy to do into turn one. But he is through, and the ARTs.
Now is starting to the crucial point of the race, because now the performance of the tires, they are dropping down, and you can see the driver that he drives more clean. He can control the spinning of the rear tires at the exit of the corner or the hairpin. So will be really interesting to check it out. Drove better during the race, and he is in a better shape condition of tires at the moment.
Oh, Nato scything through, Leclerc taking the lead back off him, Markelov looking a very real factor for the race win. Then the cycle of stops, Arden able to get their man back in front.
It's
and
close.
Now we've got Ollie Rowland right up behind De Vries into the braking zone. Ollie Rowland trying to go around the outside. Will he put his front wing? Will he risk it? He's going to risk it. And that is a sensational move to take away the position. He has got himself up to fourth, and in some style as well. That was excellent stuff from Ollie Rowland. And he tipped by many to be a contender for the title. And he showed...
Look at Giotto, he opened the DRS. Close the line, De Vries. It's not easy on the outside for Giotto. Is trying or no? No.
Thinks better of it. It is easy to switch back at this point, especially if you have superior traction, and that's exactly what he's got. They're a wonderful example for you for the state of the rear tires.
He's uphill, he's in fourth gear, it's not easy at all. Look, he opened the DRS, he tried to go on the inside, he saw the reason, closed the door, he opened the line, and then he braked really early to cross the line and to go on throttle earlier than the contender. Really well done for Giotto. Was clever and smart. Well done.
Giotto, who was a race winner with this machinery in sweltering conditions last year in Malaysia, showing that he can mix it in at the front in 2017 as well. That is how he made the move. Now we're focusing on the man in second place. We see Markelov absolutely on the charge. 2.8 seconds is the gap at the front. There's the race leader for Arden, Norman Nato. Here is Charles Leclerc for Prima. But the man on the move, as you can see with that graphic, is Artem Markelov, who took an enormous chunk of time out of his rival for the second step on the podium. And there he is, the top three in your picture, as we head into the final laps of a race that seemed to belong to one guy and then a different one. And Nato will be desperately trying to eke as little as possible out of the tires whilst maintaining that semi-race.
Not easy to understand the situation, but seems that Markelov has more chance to overtake Leclerc than Leclerc to Nato.
Okay, mate. Car in front is starting to drop a lot. We keep it cool like this. Still 4.5 laps. It is coming into us. Keep it chilled.
And it's nice when you can hear the stories from your engineer. The contender start to drop. You are in pace, man. Look, 2 seconds, 0.2. He gained. It's Markelov. It's getting closer. It's getting closer to Leclerc. He gained 8 tenths only in the first sector. And look at it.
2 seconds quicker. More than 2 seconds. We get them if you keep it like this.
Come on, engineer, leave the job to the driver now, because he can see he can see the leader, he can see the man in the second position. He needs to stay focused to try to attack at the maximum.
Well, he had the advantage, didn't he? He went 2 laps longer. When he came out of the pits, he was 10 seconds behind. He has clawed up back that advantage. He is now on the gearbox of Charles Leclerc, who is surely not going to be able to do anything about this. Is he going to even try into the final corner? He thinks better of it. He didn't really need to feint to the inside. This should be a relatively simple move. And you see comparably the difference there in traction. Nothing Leclerc can do. He has surely no option. And to add insult to injury, it's the DRS belonging to Markelov, because the detection point is at the previous corner. And Markelov now up to second position, but it isn't over yet. We said, would the extra laps on the medium work for him later on? Well, it's got him up to second. But look at the comparison to the race victory. He is operating so much faster than the leader at the moment.
He was smart here, just before the last corner. He tried and then he think. He was clever to wait and to go on the straight with the DRS open. So the lap time is quicker. Really well done for Marcos. That showed when it's important. He's so hot condition, he's so warm condition. When you're tired, that he can use his head. Really well done for Marcos.
We talked earlier. Very close indeed. And look in the background, Alexander Albon absolutely flying on this soft rubber. He has got past De Vries and he is right up to the back now of Luca Giotto.
Yeah, you're right. Albon, then King, then Markelov are the quickest guy at the moment in the track. So they are the driver that conserve better the tires. Look, Albon, really well done his recover. He's fighting for Giotto, with Giotto for the 6th position. Really well done.
2 laps to go, and we're on to the penultimate lap. Look how close it is. It was 3 seconds last time around. It's now half a second into the braking zone at turn 1. Artem Markelov, he waited and waited. He sat there at 10 seconds. He sat there, and I didn't think he had the pace, but he was waiting on his engineer's instruction, and now he's tucked underneath. He's surely got the ability to go through, and Artem Markelov takes the lead. There's going to be nothing Nato can do, and Markelov has judged it, surely, to perfection of what will be one of the greatest days of his life. He has run this wonderfully, and for so long the inconsistent man, and they're all taking it rather calmly. Well, not that calmly. Race that looked like it belonged to Leclerc and then looked like it belonged to Nato is about to be won. Artem Markelov is the winner of the first Formula 2 race of the new era on one of the best days of his career. He has delivered a phenomenal strategy to take the checkered flag in Bahrain. It's heartbreak, but good points. Here's a little bit of a comeback. Let's hear from the phenomenal race winner.
What to say, mate? No words. Awesome. That's how you make it, mate. That's how you make it.
Well, he's always relaxed. He's always got a song for us, but he will feel like singing even more after judging it to perfection. That was a race to show real faith in your engineers, to show real faith in what they expected. That's what all the hard work through testing was about. It was to evaluate how the tyres would work. Russian time were so much more confident about the soft tyre than the hard tyre, and now we see why. A lot of people pick Giotto ahead of this, but it's the Russian Artem Markelov, once a winner in GP2 as the drivers pick up marbles, but now a winner in Formula 2. And he will be absolutely thrilled in a season he knows he has to deliver the goods. He has, and how. That was sensational stuff from the Russian driver.
Enjoy Sky Sports F1 Live on all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.